Because Sun was in the ancient world, in front of the elders, she announced domineeringly that she would not marry Xiao Yan in this life. Unexpectedly, these remarks caused the leaders of the Black Annihilation Army to rush to challenge Xiao Yan and teach Xiao Yan a lesson. Because the space leading to the ancient realm took 3 days to open, Xiao Yan took Xiao Yixian and others to a manor prepared for him by the ancient clan. I saw that here at this moment, it has already been flooded by many powerful people from all sides. In the center of the manor, there is also a huge ring. While the strong here are waiting, they are here to exchange ideas. Xiao Yan and the others found a place to sit down in a restaurant next to the ring, and then asked the little Dr. Fairy to inquire about the news of the Black Annihilation Army. After all, to come into contact with this ancient tribe now, Xiao Yan naturally wants to know more about them. And this so-called Black Annihilation Army is said to be a gathering place for powerful ancient warriors, so Xiao Yan must have some information about them. At the same time, on top of a misty mountain peak, a woman in a light sing-y skirt was sitting quietly here. And this person is Sun, who has been separated from Xiao Yan for a long time. Just as the latter closed his eyes quietly, an old figure flashed out and said respectfully to Sun, "Miss, Master Xiao Yan has arrived in the ancient holy city." The current young Master Xiao Yan is no longer something that the old man like me can see through. But according to the news I received, Ling Quan, whose strength is in the 1-star Dozuan, can't make a move in his hands. I think Master Xiao Yan's strength is at least in the 4-star Dozuan. In this regard, Linging also exclaimed in his heart. After all, when he was ordered to protect Xiao Yan, the latter was just a small fighter. However, now that it has only been about 10 years, it has reached a point where even he can't see through it. This kind of cultivation speed is really terrifying. Although he's been in a state of retreat over the years, and things from the outside world rarely reach his ears, but even so, Sun knows that Xiao Yan now has a great reputation in this Zhongzhou, because she was Xiao Yan's brother who had always believed in him from beginning to end. But miss, the things you announced in the clan some time ago, I'm afraid it will make Master Xiao Yan a little troublesome. I believe him. Hearing this, Linging could only give a wry smile helplessly. It turned out that not long ago, after the proud daughter of the ancient clan had just emerged from retreat, the elders of the ancient clan began to discuss her future marriage. But unexpectedly, they were strongly opposed by Sun, and her words made the faces of all the elders present instantly livid. Whether you oppose or support, I like him, and you can't change it. At the same time, in the restaurant at this moment, the little Dr. Fairy who went to inquire about the news of the Black Annihilation Army also returned Shan. According to the latter, the status of the so-called Black Annihilation Army in the ancient race is not low, because their selection conditions are quite demanding, not only need to be absolutely loyal to the ancient race, but also must reach a certain level at a certain age. Under this strict hierarchical division, there are 8 major commanders. Ling Quan, who Xiao Yan and others saw yesterday, and the 5 commanders were 2 of them. It's just that Ling Quan is only ranked 7th. Hearing this, Xiao Yan's eyes narrowed slightly. You must know that the strengths of Ling Quan and the 5 commanders are 1-star and 3-star Dozuan, respectively. In this case, wouldn't the great commander of the Black Annihilation Army have to reach at least 6 stars or even higher? It seems that it is worthy of being an ancient tribe, one of the 8 ancient tribes. Moreover, according to Xiao Yixian, Xiao Yan is now extremely unpopular in the eyes of the younger generation of the ancient clan, because Sun personally admitted the relationship between the 2 of him at the meeting of the elders. Therefore, many people in the ancient clan now list Xiao Yan as a rival. Seeing Xiao Yixian's appearance of covering his mouth and chuckling, Xiao Yan also gave a wry smile. He didn't expect that this girl was getting bolder and bolder now. However, in Xiao Yan's view, this matter will be said as soon as it is said. After all, the relationship between the 2 of them is always going to be exposed. As for those ancient geniuses, even if they come, I will definitely educate these guys obediently. However, Xiao Yixian still reminded Xiao Yan that among the 8 major commanders, although most of them were unhappy with him, It was not these people who were the most threatening, but the four major commanders. Hearing this, Xiao Yan was also taken aback. According to Xiao Yan, the real high-level leaders of the Black Annihilation Army, in general, are the 8 major commanders and the 4 major commanders, as well as the 2 true leaders of the Black Annihilation Army, the Black Annihilation King. And these 4 major dynasties, even among the ancient races where geniuses gather, are known as the top geniuses. Although it is far less than the proud daughter of the ancient clan, Sun'er, according to their potential, they must also become the true core figure of the ancient clan in the future. Hearing this, Xiao Yan also felt a little solemn in his heart, because according to his speculation, since the level of this Dutong is higher than that of the leader, then even the weakest Dutong should be stronger than that of the great leader. So in this way, isn't the strength of the so-called 4 great capitals similar to that of the 9 heavens in the Soul Hall? Is this so-called Duty bloodline so powerful? At this moment, Xiao Yan really felt some pressure in his heart because of his cultivation speed. He was already in open existence among his peers, but when compared with the top geniuses of these ancient races, he seemed to be slightly weaker. It seems that there are people outside the human body, and there is a heaven outside the sky. This sentence is really true, and he didn't know whether the so-called 4 capitals were hostile to him. When he thought of this, a cruel color flashed in Xiao Yan's eyes. Because now even if the heavenly King Lao Tzu is here, he can't stop the relationship between him and Sun'er. Although today's Xiao Yan is only the strength of a 5-star Dozuan, he really has to start. Even if he is a 7-star or even 8-star Dozuan powerhouse, he is not afraid at all. So he hopes that these 4 major capitals will be unified, and in the end, he won't really treat him as a soft persimmon. However, in the view of His Holiness Qianhua, although this so-called Duty bloodline was indeed smooth sailing in cultivation, it only stopped before Doshing. Even for ancient races, such as the ancient races, there are many powerful people in their clan, but there are not many people who have truly set foot at the level of fighting saints. Because they really want to enter this level, they can only rely on themselves, and the blood of the fighting emperor will become a burden. Therefore, His Holiness Tianhua is more optimistic about Xiao Yan. Maybe when the latter reaches Doshing, he will make up for these guys, but he can only step in at the Dozuan level. Hearing this, Xiao Yan also nodded slightly. After all, although the Duty bloodline is powerful, it is impossible to manufacture this kind of Doshing powerhouse in large quantities. Otherwise, it would be too rebellious. But while they were talking, the 3 cold eyes were directly locked on Xiao Yan. And 2 of the figures were impressively Ling Quan, who was blown away by Xiao Yan's leg that day, and the 5-in-chief who wanted to challenge Xiao Yan. Beside them was a young man in a green robe. Is he that Xiao Yan? The 3rd brother. He is now well known in Zhongzhou, but now that he comes to my ancient clan, his pride is undiminished. This is not Zhongzhou. Although the young lady may not be worthy of me, at least people of this kind should not have such qualifications. Don't mess around. They are guests after all. Ha, don't worry. Everything will be very compliant. As soon as his voice fell, he saw the 2 figures fighting in the ring below at this moment, and the winner was also determined. With the exit of the 2 of them, a loud and clear voice immediately resounded. The following players, Yang Hao, the leader of the Black Annihilation Army 3, and Xiao Yan, the champion of the Danwei. Hearing this, Xiao Yan's expression, who was not far away, instantly became gloomy because now he seemed to have been set aside by others. Xiao Yan, who had just entered the ancient clan, instantly defeated Yang Hao, the 3rd leader of the Black Annihilation Army, with just 1 move. Unexpectedly, a 2nd leader suddenly appeared, wanting to challenge. It seems that they all have a mortal hatred for Xiao Yan and Sun'er for taking their wives. The last time the book was picked up, Xiao Yan and the others had just arrived in the ancient holy city of the ancient tribe, and they learned from the mouth of the little Dr. Fairy that he has now become the focus of the younger generation here. The object of care. Because at the family meeting, Sun'er generously admitted his relationship with Xiao Yan and said that Xiao Yan would not marry in this life. However, as soon as Xiao Yixian's voice fell, there was a loud shout from the ring below the restaurant where they were located. The next learner, Yang Hao, the third commander of the Black Annihilation Army, and Xiao Yan, the champion of the Dan Hui. As soon as these words fell, the originally noisy environment was instantly quieted down. After all, for the names of these two, the people who eat melons around them have heard of them. One is the champion of the Dan Hui, and the other is the third leader of the ancient Black Annihilation Army. They also really want to see who these two goods will be better. For this sudden scene, Xiao Yan and the others were also stunned. They didn't expect that as soon as they finished speaking, this trouble came to the door. With Xiao Yan's shrewdness, he naturally knew that the other party was afraid that he would back down, so he just resorted to the next method. However, in Xiao Yan's opinion, this is exactly in line with his mind, because Xiao Yan is also trying to make an example of this guy. Since this guy came to the door automatically now, he reluctantly accepted it. Having said that, Xiao Yan's gaze suddenly turned to where Yang Hao was. In this regard, the latter did not have the slightest fear. After all, he was at the peak of the 5-star Dozuan strength. Although Xiao Yan is also a 5-star fighter, he has never failed to fight against opponents of the same level. The 5 commanders on the side saw Yang Hao, who was eager to try, and immediately warned him not to mess around. After all, if the elders knew about this matter, there would definitely be no good fruit for them to eat. But Yang Hao said, "It's just a learning experience. Besides, my ancient clan was originally martial. Isn't it just right to meet friends with martial arts now? Don't worry, I won't embarrass him too much, of course, as long as he knows each other." Having said that, his figure flashed, and he appeared on the ring in an instant, then looked in the direction of Xiao Yan and said with a smile, "Mr. Xiao Yan, I have heard of the famous name for a long time. I don't know if I can teach today." Since the 3 commanders insisted on doing so, although it was not easy to refuse. As soon as Xiao Yan's voice fell, his figure appeared not far from Yang Hao. In this regard, Xiao Yixian and the others did not stop too much. After all, in their opinion, although Yang Hao is the pinnacle of 5-star Dozuan strength, this kind of strength can't make a big splash in front of Xiao Yan today. Seeing that Xiao Yan didn't even look for an excuse to shirk, the smile on Yang Hao's face became stronger and stronger. He deserves to be the champion of the Dan Hui. This courage is really admirable. The commander-in-chief will try it himself today. What's so unusual about this Dan Hui champion? Heaven shatters, the claws of Qi. Looking at the opponent's sharp palm wind that tore through the space, Xiao Yan immediately exerted 3,000 thunder movements and avoided them all. Seeing this situation, Yang Hao's eyes were startled at first, and then he sneered, "Good speed, but also try my dragon and snake footwork." Feeling Yang Hao's speed and attack suddenly became sharp, Xiao Yan's eyes narrowed slightly. No wonder this guy is not worried that he will not be able to beat him at all. He, who is also a 5-star fighter, turns out to have so many high-level fighting skills. However, in front of Xiao Yan, who has an unusually large soul power, no matter how ghostly his body is, there is nothing to hide. With every confrontation, Yang Hao's expression will be a little solemn, because he had already used 2 intermediate-level fighting skills, but he had never caused the slightest damage to Xiao Yan, and the latter's calm appearance made his face a little bit uncomfortable. "I don't believe it. You poor boy dare to fight with this commander." Forte Seal. Xiao Yan couldn't be more familiar with this so-called Imperial Seal technique, so the moment he saw Yang Hao about to use it, he threw out a strong wind and slammed it on the opponent's wrist like lightning. When Xiao Yan casually broke the seal, Yang Hao's expression also changed. He didn't expect that this kid would be so clear about the flaws of the Emperor's seal. However, before Yang Hao had time to think, he was severely bombarded by a hot wind on his body. After suffering such a heavy blow, he flew out of the ring spitting blood. Looking at the battle that ended almost instantly, deafening applause broke out in the attic. Xiao Yan, on the other hand, looked at Yang Hao, who was lying on the ground scorched and black, and smiled and said, "Yes, the 3 commanders." Hearing this understatement, Yang Hao suddenly spat out another mouthful of blood, because he never expected that with his 5-star peak strength, he would be so embarrassed to lose in Xiao Yan's hands. At the same time, Ling Quan on the pavilion, as well as the 5 leaders, their faces were full of horror. After all, as people of the same family, they couldn't be clearer about Yang Hao's strength. You must know that the latter holds a lot of powerful fighting skills, and even the Emperor's Seal technique has been cultivated to Forte Seal, and there are few opponents of this kind of strength in the same level. However, now he was beaten violently by Xiao Yan, and it was obvious that the latter's true combat power far exceeded the surface. At this moment, Yang Hao, who was struggling to stand up from the ground, looked at Xiao Yan fiercely. Originally, he thought that with the peak strength of 5-star Dizuan and many high-level fighting skills, he wanted to teach the opponent a good lesson. Now he was not only beaten by Xiao Yan, but he was so embarrassed to lose in this public. If this matter is passed back to the ancient world, does he still want his face? So, when Yang Hao's head became hot, he shot at Xiao Yan on the stage again. However, at this time, a figure suddenly flashed in front of him, stopped him, and shouted sharply, "Yang Hao, you have lost all the faces of the ancient tribe." The two Lingquan people on the pavilion were also startled when they saw the figure, and immediately a surprise appeared in their eyes, because the figure that suddenly appeared was their second brother, the so-called second leader of the Black Annihilation Army, Lin Shun. After taking a look at Xiao Yan, this person said in a deep voice, "Xiao Yan, are you playing well? It's just a competition to learn from each other. Since you like to learn from each other so much, how about the Commander-in-Chief try it?" Hearing this, Xiao Yan's eyes narrowed slightly. According to his speculation, this person's strength should have reached the level of the 6-star Dozuan, but in Xiao Yan's view, this strength did not have the slightest deterrent. Seeing the atmosphere of saber rattling on the stone platform again, many people in the attic cast their eyes again. It seems that there are some gaps between the young geniuses of the ancient races and Xiao Yan that ordinary people don't know. However, just when everyone thought that the battle was about to break out, they were stopped by an ancient clan elder named Gu Sun, who came suddenly. "Lin Shun, don't mess around. As the host family, you actually embarrass the guests of the ancient clan in public. What kind of system is this? Don't retreat quickly." Hearing this, Lin Shun didn't dare to fight back. Until now, he also understood that now that this old guy showed up, I'm afraid he won't be able to find his face today. So at the moment, he could only shake his head helplessly, turned and left the place. However, when Lin Shun was by Xiao Yan's side on the way, he warned him, "Those who know each other will leave as soon as possible, otherwise they will only humiliate themselves when they enter the ancient realm." Xiao Yan ignored this kind of harsh words, because Xiao Yan believed that when he entered the ancient world, he would definitely teach these people who regarded him as their rivals a good lesson. Looking at Lin Shun, who was far away, Na Gushuan also turned his head to look at Xiao Yan. He said that due to the young lady, the latter should encounter more challenges in the future, so he told Xiao Yan to be mentally prepared. After saying this, Gu Sun turned and walked outside the pavilion, seeing the dragon and tiger fight that was going to start. But it ended so hastily. Many people were a little bit more than enough, but they were helpless,